are going to create some stuff to make trees move with wind from ultradynamic sky. As long as you have ultradynamic sky and you have whatchamacallit, trees that are vertex painted. If you do not have trees that are vertex painted, this will not work. But I think nowadays 99% of trees from the Epic Games Store, or if you make them yourself, are vertex painted. I'm going to use the procedural ecosystem trees because I know for a fact those are vertex painted. So what we're going to want to do is create a folder called material functions, right click into materials and textures and create a material parameter collection. I'm going to call this MPC wind. You can name yours whatever you would like. We are going to name the scalar parameter wind intensity without a slash, and as Jesus never fails. Default value of 1. The vector parameter, we are going to put 1 in the red scale, or RGBA, red, green, blue, and then alpha. And this is going to be called wind direction. And then that is going to be that for that. Inside of here as well, we are going to create 2 material functions. One is going to be wind for the trunk. You could call it bark. I've been calling it that. I don't know why. And another one called wind leaves. So we are going to start with the... Which one do I want to start with? That's a good question. We're going to start with the trunk. And we are going to open this guy up here. Ignore that, because we haven't done anything yet, so no shit, Sherlock. We are going to right click, and we are going to get object pivot point. And then we are going to get a vector 3 from a constant. We are going to make that green, 0, 1, 0. And then we are going to right click and type in dot, because we want a dot product from math. And your pivot location goes into A, your vector green goes into B. And then you're going to hold D and click to get a divide. And we are going to want to divide this by 4. And then we are going to want to hold A and click to get an add node. And we are going to right click and get time. Connect that into B. And then we are going to want to hold M to get a multiply. Plug that into A, and we are going to want to multiply this by 0.25. Then we are going to drag it out and get a sine wave. And we are going to add 4 to that. And then we are going to divide, and we are going to multiply, hold D and click, hold M and click respectively. Put that into A, put the divide into A, and then we are going to divide both of these, or sorry, we are going to divide by 4. So we're going to add by 4, divide by 4, and we are going to get a, what is it, collection parameter, which is where you're going to grab the parameter that you created, and this is going to be wind intensity. And we are going to get another divide, go figure. And we are going to plug that into A, we are going to divide by 60, and plug that into B. And then we're going to get a rotate about axis from utility, and this is going to go into the rotate angle, we're going to need to Control C, Control V, this right here. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's wind direction. And then we are going to do what's called a break float 2, the number 2. And then we are going to hold M for multiply. We are going to multiply this guy by -1. And then we are going to make it a float again and drag G into Y. If you highlight everything and click Q, it aligns them, makes them straight. Then you take this, drag that into the normal like so. You're going to need to grab this again, Control C, Control V, it goes into lay pivot point. And then for position, we want world position. Don't know why it defaults to wind. What you need is this. Actually, if I type that without, nope, still defaults to wind. That's fucking stupid. And then obviously goes into position. And then we are going to get a bounding box from the coordinates. And we are going to hold M. And we are going to multiply the B to the B and the A to the node. And then you plug that into there like so and click apply and you get this cool looking thing mabobber right here. And that is it for the trunk. Now for the leaves, if I'm not mistaken, yes, we need to take everything we just did, copy it, leave that there, go into here, paste it, Control V. Let's bring you down a little bit here, like so. And then we are going to go ahead and just grab an add node, put you into B, go ahead and chuck you straight into that. And then we get to grab this guy, Control C, Control V, and then Control C and Control V again. And you're going to be direction. And we are going to get a vector normalize. You could just type in normalize too, I guess. Sure. And then we are going to hold M to multiply that like so. We are going to hold S and click. Brings a parameter up. This is going to be called wind direction strength. That's not how you spell strength. Why can I not spell strength? Whatever. I think that's right. I don't know anymore. We're going to make this a default value of 10. And then we are going to hold M once again. And we are going to multiply these two values together. So if you remember inside of here, we set that to 1. Wind intensity is 1. Then we're multiplying that by 10, so 1 times 10 is 10. So if you go in here and multiply, put like 2 there, then it will multiply out and you will actually get an intensity of 20. We are going to plug this into this. We are going to once again do a break float 2. But we are going to do a make float 3. And we are going to do G to Y and Z to this guy. And then we need to Control C, Control V again. This is, I did the wrong one, but whatever. That's going to be intensity. We need to hold S again for another parameter called wind influence. Influence. I don't know. This is going to have a default value of 1. We are going to multiply. Boom, boom. And then we are going to add a default node called simple grass wind. And we are going to plug you into there. And we're going to hold S again, right click, and convert that into a constant with a value of 0.25. That's going to go into wind weight. And then you're going to Control C, Control V again. This is going to go into wind speed. We're going to call that 1. And then this make float goes into here, like so. And the part that I am about to show you guys, that was my Bluetooth speaker shutting off, that's great. What the fuck, boy? There we go. If you are not vertex painted, this is where it's going to make or break you. Hold M for a multiply, drag off of B, and get vertex color. We do not want that, so if you hold Alt, it disconnects it. Alternatively, you can also hold Control and click it, and then you can drag it wherever without it disappearing on you, if you don't fuck up like I just did. And then we do that like so, and then we boom, add that in there, and there you go. You got some like quick little wavy type shit going on. Go ahead and save it. We are officially done with all of them. That is that for that part. Congratulations. If you've made it this far, fuck yeah. I wish it could have been that quick when I originally did it. So, what we're going to do now is we are going to open up this guy. And we want, so for some reason, even though there's a material functions, if you go into here, it doesn't, you can't find the material functions you made. So you have to drag them in. It's fucking weird. I could be doing something completely wrong too. But we're going to plug that into the world position offset. We are going to click apply, and this little guy right here should look wavy. Or not wavy, but it'll look like it's bending. Yeah, see? It's alive. So we're going to save that. And you can see the trees are now, quote unquote, moving because of the wind that we have applied in here. So if I change that to 0, they no longer move. But here in a second, no matter what this is, it will be irrelevant because we're going to be setting it by Unreal, or not Unreal, Ultra Dynamic Sky. So now we're going to open up the pine branches. Inside of procedural ecosystem, a lot of the materials are master shared. So that's why I only put it on the one, even though there are 3 different pine trees, it still worked the same. We are going to grab leaves. We are going to come up to branches, drop that in there, plug that into the world position offset. If you already have stuff in your world position offset, it is fine, because this did for this type of shit. Just disconnect it and plug in what you want. And it'll be A, okie dokie K. So now if we hit save and whatever, and we go back, the tree leaves shall now be attached, quote unquote, to your tree trunk. And all is moving in the same manner. Look at that, boys. We got trees moving in wind, even though technically it's non-existent. But that's beside the point. Look at how realistic that girl looks. Thickums. Anyway, so this is where the fun part comes into play. So we do ultra dynamic weather. We open that girl up, and we go into the event graph. Now I do know that for some people, if you go into the event tick, you can right click and type in begin play, and it will put a node inside the event play area, because some of them, this isn't set up this way. It's really weird. I don't know why. But either way, wherever your event begin play is where you should do this. So again, if you cannot find it, go into any of the event graphs like these, not the ones with the F because those are functions. You can't put begin plays in those at all. So like for a lightning flash, if I didn't know where my begin play was, I can just type in begin play and it will take me directly to the event graph that has it. So we are going to hold S and click for a sequence node because we want to go ahead and carry this out still like normal, but we want to run a second batch of shit. And we are going to have it looping, so we don't want it to loop back, you know, and rerun everything over and over and over again. So we are going to hold D and click for a delay. And we are going to set scalar parameter. And we are going to set vector. Set vector parameter value. And this is going to be from the NPC wind thing that we created. And this one is going to be wind intensity. This one is going to be wind direction. Now, we are going to get current wind intensity. Yes. Like so. And we are going to promote this to a variable, one that we create, and we are going to call this new. I've already done it. So hold that thought. Let me remove that. There we go. Don't worry about that. New wind intensity. If you are dealing with a replicated project, make that replicated. If you are not, then it does not matter. And then we just want to drag to you, and then if I'm not mistaken, we go ahead and we loop you straight back. Just like that. Throw a little couple reroute nodes on here so that way we can follow it properly. Let's shove you right there. Bada bing, bada boom, baby. Look at that beautifulness. We want to get our new wind intensity, which this is the one that UDS will set when it clicks play. We are going to take what they make, put it into our new variable. This calls what this made, which then puts it into here for our trees to move. So we no longer have to set it inside of that NPC windy, or whatever you called it. So from there, we are going to make linear color from the set vector parameter value. We are going to find the current wind direction. What? Okay, get wind direction. And then what we are simply going to do is get rotator from axis and angle, and we should make you a -1. And then we are going to get forward vector. We are going to right click and split the structure pin, plug Y into that, plug Z into B, leave A alone, because for some reason it makes some really weird shit go down. I don't know why. We are going to compile. We should have no errors. Gorgeous, fucking gorgeous. So now we can go back into NPC wind. We can take you and turn you to 0, call you a day. There we go. Look, now they don't move. However, if we go into ultra dynamic sky, for the current preset, wind intensity is a 2. So if we click play, they now move with the direction of the wind. And if we select a little bit of a thunderstorm here, now they really get carried away with the wind. Granted, it is an 8, so I mean that is some pretty strong fucking wind in the Unreal World space. Is that moving away from me whenever I walk? And that, oh, that's different. Huh. Why is it changing based on my location? Let's plug you back in. Is that the direction? Yeah, it's going with the way of the wind. Okay, so there we go. Now I've also been messing around by making these all 1. And sometimes it works. It's a little funky. You just, from here, you just mess around with the numbers yourself to get a better, less of a bend if you want a less of a bend. It's completely entirely up to you. To do so, you just go into the trunk and right here you mess around with the 4 and the 4. You can try to mess with these numbers if you want. These are the numbers that I like the best. So just inside of your wind trunk material function for your wind, for the trunk, these two right here are what you want to play with. You could also try playing with this number. I haven't done that yet. But that is the basics to get you started to go on to your own little journey like the grown-up people you are and make trees and grass. I mean, hell, you could actually break this down into like houses. So when if the wind gets, to a certain extent, it what is it? It calls on a destructible mesh, and your whole building becomes collapsed because the wind was too great, so on and so forth. It's a lot of capability. But yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can go ahead and either comment down below or feel free to join the Discord. The link's down there as well. And that'll be it for this. I hope you guys learned something, or at least attempted to grasp what I was horribly trying to say. But yeah, so that'll be it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it, because I know I did not. Goodbye.